Welcome to this video on the 2020 Sky Mysteries. I'm Kaylin Castell, and this features Venus in 2020. It is closest to the Pleiades in 8 years and rising with Aldebaran in June, the closest in at least 104 years as morning star. So this really comes from the Shamanic Astrology Mystery School. It was created by Daniel Gemario in the early 1980s, and I began formulating the school with Daniel in the late 1990s, and it became an official 501c3 educational nonprofit over 10 years ago. So this school and this approach to the astrological mysteries is about reclaiming a living relationship between the mysteries of earth and sky, based on the premise that we inform the mysteries as much as they inform us. We know that that ancient people had a living relationship with these mysteries, and that the more that they understood them, the more they were in that relationship. So shamanic astrology is really about how do we get that relationship back, and it's creating an understanding of the planets and the signs as an evolving archetypal mythical perspective, and that we're in this very rapid speeded up evolutionary time. So we look at the inner planets as representing an intent, and this video is specializing in Venus. So we're looking at the emerging feminine identity for women and the inner feminine for men, or the inner other, as we'll look at some of these other aspects in another video at another time. So the synodic cycle of Venus was something that the Sumerians and the Babylonians were very much interested in their story of Inanna and Ishtar. Turns out literally describes the movement of Venus through her phases in the sky. Daniel Gemario found this out in the mid-90s when he was doing research on the Venus synodic cycle. And we've come to understand that there are 4 main Venus star phases with some nuances and variations within each of these phases. But the morning star phase is about 9 months. When Venus rises as morning star, that begins the cycle, as according to the Sumerians and the Babylonians and how they worked with it. And the sun, then Venus is with the sun for about 60 to 90 days in the underworld phase, in the phase where Inanna or Ishtar goes through a death and rebirth. And then there's the evening star phase for about 9 months. So this is an initiatory journey. And the very final phase is what we call the metamorphic underworld, where the goddess is going through a complete transformation from one expression of the feminine to another. So we're all born somewhere within this story, and it really helps us to understand our Venus signature, meaning that whatever sign Venus is in is also influenced by one of these star phases, because they each have their own unique additional energy that they add to whatever sign Venus happens to be in. Also, whatever sign Venus is in when she rises as morning star is the meta goddess on the world stage for about 19 months. We could say it is the strongest expression of the feminine. So the best example I can give was that in March of 2017, we had the last rise of Venus in Aries, and within a month, I think it was a few weeks anyway, the movie Wonder Woman came out. That totally is the expression of the feminine as a warrior woman who's here to restore the cosmic justice and cosmic balance. On November 1st, we've had the first rising of Venus in Libra in 155 years. And when we have the next Aries, or when Venus is rising near the spring equinox, it's going to be in the sign of Pisces, not Aries. So the Sumerians and the Babylonians were looking at the rise near the spring equinox as the one where they would actually reenact the entire story of Inanna or Ishtar as ceremony. And that's what really inspired us to consider how we are working with the Venus cycle as a ceremony, working with the entire 19-month cycle. You can also see here that Venus creates a 5-pointed star in the sky, and that there are 5 main archetypes that are on the world stage at any one given time. So that'll be, so we're going to be moving from Libra into Gemini on June, well, actually it's June 9th, not June 10th, or June 10th in some places in the world. So it just depends on where you are, what time zone you happen to be in. Now, what's really significant about the ending of this Libra cycle is that it means that Venus will be out of bounds from April 1st to June 1st, meaning it is in an extreme further than where the sun can go. And this happened 8 years ago in 2012 and back in 2004. It'll also happen again in 2028 and 2036. And because of the extreme out of bounds nature of Venus, it's going to pass super close to the Pleiades. And you can see here on March 30th, March 31st, April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd is when it's the closest since 2012. And you can see how close it's 0.27 degrees. Actually, in 2028, it'll be even closer, 0.10 degrees. And then in 2036, even closer, 0.07 degrees. So if we're around when this happens in these 8-year phases, the thing that's so cool about this is that the ancient alchemists looked at certain stars and star groups as what they called Bohemian stars or magical stars. And whenever planets were close to them, within 6 degrees, they would use these stars as these timings as a time to make certain amulets, potions, elixirs, create intentions, do ceremony, that sort of thing. So we have an incredible opportunity to work with the Pleiades. There is an article on my website at kaylencastell.com on the Bohemian stars if you want to know more, and I'll do another video on it shortly too. So be sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel to get the announcement when that is live. So here we see Venus on June 9th, very close to Aldebaran, another Bohemian star. In fact, Aldebaran is one of the 4 royal stars of ancient times. And it marks the eye of the bull. It's in the constellation of the Hyades here, and not that far from the Pleiades, actually. So this is going to begin the new cycle of the feminine, which is a more playful, creative, freedom-oriented expression of the goddess, the storyteller, and the messenger. And so we'll have an opportunity to maybe have a more playful expression of the feminine over the 19-month cycle when it's in Gemini. And the other thing that's very cool about this, and this doesn't really look like a hoop, but here is the sacred hoop. And the sacred hoop of stars, by the Lakota perspective, is literally, you see the line, the path of the planets, the ecliptic here, and the plane of the galaxy intersect. And this is where the June solstice sun rises. And it can only do that every 26,000 years. So it's pretty remarkable. And we have Venus very close to Aldebaran at that particular time. And so this alerts us to the importance of this next Venus cycle, and it's happening in 2020, and it won't happen again until for 8 more years. So if you want to know more about the amazing events of 2020, I have some other videos that I've got posted on the front page of my website. I also have articles that you can access at kaylencastell.com. If you want to know more about the Venus cycle, how to work with it ceremonially, we've got articles, we've got videos and classes. And so we'd love for you to come stop by, sign up for our newsletter if that works for you. I also write celestial timings. If you want to get that, it's a free newsletter as well at kaylencastell.com. And I hope this video was helpful, informative, and inspires you to go out and look up at Venus when she's in the evening sky with the Pleiades and in the morning sky with Aldebaran.